Hello, I am Jingwen. In today's video presentation, I would like to introduce how to improving oral health in New Zealand, subsidy or cash grant. The rate of dental care services in New Zealand is low despite the government offers dental visit among its population as a way of improving oral health in the country. The government of New Zealand subsidies dental care services for people under the age of 18. Despite the price incentive, it is reported that 80% of children and 47% of adults do not visit a dentist regularly. In 2016, 29,000 children aged 1 to 14 had at least one tooth removed due to decay. There is urgent need to solve this problem and encourage people to visit dentists regularly. This study explores the effects of government subsidy on dental care and make a recommendation on appropriate public policy that produces the desired positive social externality in respect to dental care. Economics is not a straight science. Economics often advance economic solutions which lead to undesirable outcome of losers and gainers. Consequently, the economic policy making involves the delicate art of balancing trade-offs so that, in the end, social well-being is enhanced. In certain instances, government may be compelled to compensate the losers in order not to compromise welfare. It is possible that by such intervention, the allocative mechanism may suffer some distortion leading to either market failure or policy failure or both one. But would that be too much a price to pay if the intervention can bring relief to some? Subsidy is one such market intervention that can be used to bypass the market system in the distribution of resources so as to enhance welfare. Subsidy is the opposite of tax and is one of the significant policies that the government used to influence the market. However, the use of subsidy has created opposite incomes among economics and non-economics, government and non-governmental organizations, policymakers and civil society. Both developing and developed countries offer subsidy with the sole aim of encouraging consumption of products or services that produce positive social, health, and environmental externalities. The New Zealand government subsidizes dental care for people under the age of 18. This study examines the effect of this government program on the consumption of dental care services among this age set. In order to reach the target population, the government subsidizes a for-profit and not-for-profit firm on each dental care services offered by the firm. Generally, subsidies are introduced to mitigate possible imbalance in the allocation of resources. When government provides subsidy to sellers or consumers, the new equilibrium quantity increases with the seller receiving more than the pre-subsidy situation. In this case, I will examine the impact of dental care subsidy on producers and consumers of dental care services on the market outcome. In this figure, the initial demand curve and supply curve intersect at point E1. This is a pre-subsidy situation with price P1 and quantity Q1. In this case, the price the seller receives and the consumer pays is the pre-subsidy price P1. Now suppose New Zealand government granted the buyers with a subsidy. If the government provides subsidy to buyers, the demand curve shifts to the right, D2, such that the new equilibrium point is established at point E2. At the new equilibrium point, the price that the buyer pays is PB, while the price that the seller receives is PS. The difference between the price that seller receives and the price that the buyer pays is subsidy per unit to buyer. Because of the government subsidy, the market for dental care moves from point E1 to point E2 with an increase in equilibrium price and quantity than the equilibrium price and quantity of pre-subsidy state. The following conclusion can be drawn after the provision of subsidy to consumers of dental care services below the age of 18. The ordinary downward sloping convex to the origin indifferent curve is only one small part of indifferent curve edifice. For this case, we make the artificial assumption that more of a good is always preferred to less and that both goods in two-dimensional version of this diagram are subject to diminishing MRS. Indifference curves are used to analyzing the impact of subsidies to consumers. Government currently offer various kinds of subsidy to individuals. Dental care subsidy causes a reduction in price as a result. The budget line tells because now the consumer is able to offer more dental visits than pre-subsidy state. The budget line L1 and L2 is tangential to the indifference curves L1 and L2 at point A and B, respectively. It is clear that the optimal bundle in the pre-subsidy state generates lower utilities as opposite to the optimal bundle in the subsidy state. From the preceding analysis, it is evident that government subsidy in a perfectly competitive market results in the creation of deadweight loss and inefficiency in the market. There is a loss of efficiency as because people make decisions not based on social margin costs, but on distorted costs. As a result, subsidy produces negative effect on the consumer welfare. However, it can be argued that subsidy programs are aimed at helping the poor, not hunting the market participants. Now, suppose that instead of dental care subsidy for people aged under 18, the government gave these consumers a cash grant or income support. Then the consumer would face a budget constraint L2, representing a shift from L1. We can see clearly from Figure 3 that the consumer is now better off, since there is a section of the bundle constraint L2 that lies above the indifferent curve. As a result, the consumer will choose the bundle that is on the higher indifferent curve than the one so B, thereby demonstrating that cash subsidy involving the same amount as dental care subsidy could lead to higher welfare for the recipient. Alternatively, the government could, by using cash grant, boost the consumer's welfare to the same level as dental care subsidy at lower cost. Finally, I would like to propose some policy recommendation to the Ministry of Health. From the preceding analysis, it is clear that cash grant or income support for people under 18 years is superior to price subsidy. Consumer subsidy produces deadweight loss and leads to inefficient market outcome in a perfectly competitive market. It is therefore recommended to the New Zealand government to introduce cash subsidy for dental care since it raises consumer welfare to the same level as price subsidy for dental care at a lower cost. That's all. Thank you for your listening.